Hello, welcome to Kelly's Colts Classics. Now, if you're like me, that means you're probably inside trapped because coronavirus. I know, the world is kind of crazy right now, so I thought what a better way to occupy my time than to start a booktube channel and talk about my favorite things, books, because I think we all need a little bit more happiness in our lives right now, and for me, books are one of my greatest sources of joy. So once again, welcome to my booktube channel, Kelly's Colts Classics. So this is the part 2 of my quarantine books. I don't know what else to call them. The books I'm reading while it seems like the world is going to hell. That's what I'm calling it. So this is the books that I haven't read yet. So I'm not going to go too in-depth into all of these just because I haven't read them. And some of them I don't know that much about. Like, they're just in my to-read pile. There's quite a few of them. So some of these I had checked out before I knew we were going to go on lockdown. And so they're from that. Some of these I own. No, and some of these are books that when everything did start to close, I had a gut feeling that the library would be next. So literally 2 days before the library closed, I went to the library and just like panic got books. So hopefully these last me the rest of quarantine. If not, I'll just like get some on my Kindle, or I have like all of Shakespeare up here, and there's still a couple Jane Austens I need to read, so I guess I'll go there. But so here we go. The first one is People of the Book by Geraldine Brooks. I don't know much about this. It was recommended to me by Goodreads, but whatever. I love Goodreads. It is my favorite app. Okay, it's wonderful, and are you a true book lover if you don't have a Goodreads account? Unless you're like not tech savvy, then I get that, but like if you are and you don't, like what are you doing? Get a Goodreads account and like an app, and you can make to read lists and read lists, and they're so fun. Anyway, so Goodreads suggested this to me based on what I have read in the past. I don't know, it's like a story about a book. I don't know what it's about. We'll see. We'll explore together. I'll do more videos in the future about after I read some more of these books. So I'll let you know how this goes. I think it's like there's a book expert trying to find the history of this book. We'll see. The next one is another Simone St. James book, Lost Among the Living. She's so fun. I have so much fun reading her books. I'm probably gonna read all of her books throughout this quarantine. I don't have all of her books, so I might have to buy some on my Kindle. But I'm gonna read them all because they're just fun, and I need a little fun in my life right now. Again, this takes place in the 20s. There seems to be a spunky female lead, a ghost, potentially a murder. I don't know. We'll see. And I'll have an amazing time reading it, despite the fact I'll probably predict what happens like a quarter of the way into the book, but I'm still gonna enjoy the ride, and that's what life is about. I'm ridiculous. Sorry. The second one is a third book in a series that I've been reading. It's definitely a series that I think probably attracts like older people, but I am an old person inside, so I'm reading it. It's 1949 by Morgan Llywelyn. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Okay, I'm not gonna try. 1949. Basically, this series is a historical fiction series that goes through basically the history of the Irish conflict. So the first one was 1916, which was like the Easter Uprising, and then the second one was, I think the year was 1922, which is all about the Irish Civil War. This one is 1949, so it's a couple decades after the second book, and then there's one that is 1972, and I think the next one is 1999. I'm not positive though. I hope she writes another one that's like 2019, all the crazy things going on with Brexit and how that's gonna affect the Irish piece, the Northern Irish piece. So if you can't tell, I'm really interested in conflict studies, specifically terrorism. So my nonfiction reading is heavy in that genre, so this is just like, it's not nonfiction, it's historical fiction, but I like reading historical fiction to kind of get like a personal feel for conflicts like this. It adds emotion, I think, so we'll see how this is. The next one is, surprise, surprise, another nonfiction book called One of Us, the story of Anders Breivik and the massacre in Norway. I'm honestly expecting this one to be very sad because it's about the white nationalist terrorist attack against the youth camp in Norway where a lot of like teenagers died. So I'm probably going to be very sad the entire time I'm reading this. So it'll be sad. I don't mind reading about sad things. I prefer to know about them than not know about them. So I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be a really good analysis of what went on and how a lot of people didn't think that it was going to be a like local Norwegian who was the one who killed all the children, and then it was. And I think it's gonna explain a lot about the presumptions we have about terrorists and how we need to kind of self-reflect a little bit more. So God, you guys are gonna think I'm so boring because the next book is The Accidental Guerrilla by David Kilcullen. It's about guerrilla warfare and ties to international terrorism, and it's a heavily political science, like conflict studies book. So I'm not gonna bore you guys going more into depth with it. I read a little bit about it of it before. His writing is just kind of dense, so I remember I never finished it, but I would really love to finish it because it is a fascinating topic. And when I wrote my honors thesis my senior year, I used a couple of his other books, and I got through those, so I think now I'll probably be able to get through it. So the last book everyone probably knows about, Uncle Tom's Cabin. I've actually never read it. We talked about it in like AP US history in high school, so I know about it. I know its effect on the society at the time, but I never actually read it, and I always have, just because it was such an influential book. And also I love reading women writers from a time when there weren't that many women writers. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit of a feminist. I think this book is like a piece of history since it had such historical influence, or not historical influence, but like societal influence at the time. So I think it would be interesting. I'm not saying everything in here is right because again, Harriet Beecher Stowe was not a slave, so probably isn't all correct. But nonetheless, it did have an impact of motivating some people to join the abolitionist movement. We'll see. I haven't read it. Maybe I'll end up not liking it, but let's see. Anyway, that's all my books for now. If you guys have any requests about a book you would like me to review or anything else you would like to see, just comment down below. Bye. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay inside unless you're like getting food or going for a walk.